God never causes sin, but he does permit sin. Welcome back to Wretched. That is a provocative theological statement in an era where evangelicals are inclined to say God is like the Red Cross, which is why I wrote chapter 16 in Judge Not, tearing down this notion that God is a paramedic who somehow gets a fire alarm that indicates, uh-oh, somebody's in trouble, I better do something about it. Nope. God controls each and every event in the lives of every single everything in the universe. God causes tragedy that isn't sinful, but he permits tragedy that is. And for the Christian, he uses both of those things to do something for us that is more profound, that is deeper, that is more in alignment with his agenda than it is with ours, that causes us ultimately to look more and more like his Son, Jesus Christ. Now, the question is, can that theological rubber meet the road? Indeed, theology always works. So let's take a look at a number of scenarios, starting with scenario number one. You are a young person, you're in high school, middle school, university, and you failed a test, and you go, oh, it's a big, bad, terrible, horrible day. Not so fast. Let's take a look at a sovereign view understanding of this event. The sovereign view says that God must have wanted you to get an F on your algebra test, or you would have passed it. And now it is your task to figure out what God is trying to do for you. I know you studied, you even went to bed early, you had a good breakfast, and you still got an F on the test? How could that have happened? Well, let me tell you something. It couldn't have happened without God knowing about it. Furthermore, if the Bible is correct, and it is, nothing happens without God ordaining it. And getting an F is not a sinful thing. That means that God actually caused you to get an F. I'm not kidding. Some of these areas are gray, and we don't want to try to get into the mind of God to the degree where we figure out the things that are of God's, as opposed to understanding, hey, he's running it, I just submit to that. However, did he not have control over the teacher who wrote the test? Did he not know what you were going to study and glance over and fall asleep and drool on your textbook over? Of course he did. Putting all of those things together, he must have wanted you to get an F, or you wouldn't have. Consider why. Did you fail to study? And God is teaching you the benefits of hard work and the consequences of laziness? Is God trying to mature you and move you away from childish things? Is God trying to humble you? Is he trying to help you learn from others? Is it possible he is trying to lead you toward a different career choice? Well, when you put it like that, he could be doing all kinds of things for me, even in my F. Contrast that to the Red Cross view. God was busy elsewhere, taking care of important things, and he couldn't tear himself away to help you in your silly little test. Oh, that doesn't help me very much. I thought God loved me. He does love you, and he loves you so much he might cause you to bomb this semester because he wants to do profound things for you. Passing a test is no big whoop. Growing you in character, maturing you, that's a big whoop, and that's what God wants to do for you. Let's check out scenario number two, unemployment. The sovereign view says, it is clear God does not want you to have a job today. When he does, you're going to go to work. Until then, you can rest assured that he is keeping you on the sidelines for a reason. Maybe it's getting a little bit tight. There's tension in the home because, let's face it, there is stress when somebody does work. But the sovereign view says God knows it. God is actually orchestrating it. It is not a sin for God to give you a pink slip. It is not a sin for him to not provide for you a job. The only thing we deserve is hell, not a career. And so if you don't have one at the moment, it's because God wants it that way, because he's doing something for you. I said this in Judge Not. Is God trying to teach you to be more grateful or to trust him more? Is he trying to teach you patience? Is he trying to reveal that your career is an idol? Is he allowing you to spend more time with your family? Is he keeping you from the jobs you think are best because he's preparing a different and maybe better job for you in the future? Oh, so maybe God's intentions are good while I have to sit at home and watch reruns of Judge Judy. Consider the tension that is created when a spouse is not employed. And the finances are starting to get a little tight, and there's starting to be a little bit of, what are we going to do about these invoices, these bills that are on the table? Could it be that God is using this very thing to cause you to lean on him more as opposed to getting your paycheck every 2 weeks? What about that that's starting to happen with your spouse? Maybe he wants to address that, and he's using this to get you to stop at one another, to grow your marriage so that you play your roles of Jesus and the church better. Maybe God does want to do good things for you in unemployment. Contrast that to the Red Cross view, which says, God heard about your firing, and as soon as he has time, he's going to scour the want ads. He'll try to find a listing that maybe you overlooked. Hey, that's not very comforting. It seems like this is all kind of out of control, and I sure hope God can do something. I hope he can find a job for me soon before finances run out. Tell me, which one of these theologies actually provides comfort? I get it. It is more difficult. It is more against our fallen nature to understand the sovereign view, which says God is orchestrating everything in your life, causing non-sinful calamity, permitting sinful events to happen in your life to do things benevolently for you. Our next scenario, a nightmare child. The sovereign view says God must have wanted you to have a beast of a baby, or you would not have given birth to a monster child. You must have needed that little Tasmanian devil, or you would not have had him. Who knits together children in the mother's womb? God. And let's say what he knit together, is a bit of a rascal. Now, God is not responsible for that child's sins, but God knit that child together knowing bents, knowing dispositions, because you must need something that only that child can bring about. That's the sovereign view. Is God trying to teach you patience? Is God trying to teach you to forgive quickly and freely? Is he trying to grow you in grace or to teach you to pray more fervently? That kid will do it. Is God trying to reveal that your reputation is an idol? Is he teaching you that you have a fear of man problem? Take a look at that child in the crib, and instead of going, instead ask, what, Lord? What do I need to learn? What do you want to teach me through this child? Contrast that to the Red Cross view. God received the birth notice of your little terror, and if possible, he's going to try to arrange a few minutes of peace for you here and there. That doesn't sound nearly as lofty or even hopeful. Why? Because it is not. The sovereign view defeats the Red Cross view, not just because it ultimately helps us to understand what's going on and appreciate it and learn and grow from it, but because it is biblical.